I don't know if many of you saw a video I did a while back where I talked about recording music and stuff, and I said something to the effect in the video. Um, I like to discover things inside me that I didn't know were there. Um, I found something on Twitter, I don't know, a few months ago that kind of says the exact same thing, and it was really surprising when I found it. Um, and I want to read it to you. And when I said that on video, hello, little monkeys. When I said that on video, I had not read this letter yet, so it was pretty interesting when I found it that it kind of said the same thing from a very famous author. I've never read any of his work. I've heard of him a million times. A million people talk about his work. He's a legendary author. Um, that millions of people have read, that people have studied it in school, in college. I unfortunately have never read any of his work, but that doesn't mean he's great. And that's my fault that I haven't read any of his work. Maybe one day I will if I ever have 5 fucking free minutes, but I don't. So a bunch of kids from an Xavier High School, they were given an assignment in class by their teacher and to write to their favorite author, and 5 of them wrote to Kurt Vonnegut. And I can't even think of the titles of his books right now. That's my fault. Forgive me. And he answered the letter and he wrote a letter back. And it says, "Dear Xavier High School and Miss Lockwood and Messrs. Perrin, McFeely, Battenmar, and Conglusta." I assume they're the kids that wrote the letter. I don't know. It says, "I thank you for your friendly letters. You sure know how to cheer up a really old geezer, 84, in his sunset years. I don't make public appearances anymore because I now resemble nothing so much as an iguana. What I had to say to you, moreover, would not take long. To wit, pr- practice any art, music, singing, dancing, acting, drawing, painting, sculpting, poetry, fiction, essays, reportage, no matter how well or badly, not to get money and fame, but to experience becoming, to find out what's inside you, to make your soul grow." Now, let me stop here. Again, in that video I did months and months ago that probably 2 of you watched, I said that same exact type thing. I said I like to find out what's inside me that I didn't know was there. Um, he's basically giving that same advice. And I didn't say I wanted to do it for fame or money or any of those reasons. It's a you discover what was within yourself that you did not know was there. I said things like, I didn't know I could sing like that. I didn't know I could do this or do that. I discovered that. I did not know that was there. So again, he says not to get money or fame, but to experience becoming, to find out what's inside you, to make your soul grow. It continues. Seriously, I mean, starting right now, do art and do it the rest of your lives. Draw a funny or nice picture of Miss Lockwood and give it to her. Dance, dance home after school and sing in the shower, and on and on. Make a face in your mashed potatoes. Pretend you're Count Dracula. Here's an assignment for tonight, and I hope Miss Lockwood will flunk you if you don't do it. Write a 6-line poem about anything, but rhymed. No fair tennis without a net. Make it as good as you possibly can, but don't tell anybody what you're doing. Don't show it or recite it to anybody, not even your girlfriend or parents or whatever, or Miss Lockwood, okay? Tear it up into teeny weeny pieces and discard them into widely separated, excuse me. You will find that you have already been gloriously rewarded for your poem. You have experienced becoming, learned a lot more about what's inside you, and you have made your soul grow. God bless you all, Kurt Vonnegut. And that's also another interesting part of the letter. Um, I was surprised by when I read it the first time was how he said, write a poem or do whatever, but don't show anyone. Just fucking trash it when you're done. In other words, do it for yourself. Don't do it for the satisfaction of showing other people and then being like, oh yeah, that's really good. I like that. That's great. In other words, don't do it for the praise or possible praise or to get noticed by people. Do it for yourself. I thought that was fascinating. And that's even a step further than what I said in my video months and months and months ago. But that's really when I say I like to discover what's inside me that I didn't know was there. That's also kind of what I was saying. Like that's for myself. It's not to get praise from the fucking world or money or fame or whatever. It's just kind of for that epiphany that like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. And that is one of the most fascinating letters I've ever seen. And it's one of the most fascinating perspectives. The problem is, though, one, people don't have time to do that. When you're a child, you can kind of focus on that stuff and hope it turns into a career for you. Because if it doesn't turn into a career, you still need to find a way to make money. Hello, Dawn. That's the problem, unfortunately. In other words, you can take that path, but you still have to deal with the world. You still have to survive somehow, unfortunately. And unfortunately, there's not enough room for everyone to be an artist and for everyone to follow their dreams. They're great philosophies, though. And for the people that make it and are able to turn it into something they can live on, that's great. But there's no way in this world that everyone can do that and turn it into something they can live on. And I guess my final point is, if only people had time to explore that often, or even the space to explore. Like, let's say you're into music, you're into being loud, you're into making loud noises and sounds and recording them. You got to have a place to do that. And everyone doesn't have a place to do that, unfortunately. Or even painting or whatever. Dancing, you need space to dance, don't you? If only people had the time and the ability, and by the ability, I mean the space or place to do it. Such a shame. And it's disgusted me since I was a small child that so many people have to waste their lives doing things they don't want to do. Working for some millionaire you're never going to meet just to squeak out some meager existence. It's such a fucking shame. And it's such a fucking shame people don't have more time to do things that would make their soul grow, because working for the man does not make anyone's soul grow. That just beats you the fuck down, unfortunately. It's such a shame, and it disgusts me, honestly, that I and other people, more people, don't have the time, the ability to do this. And it's a beautiful thing he wrote. Unfortunately, it's not reality, though, and I hate to end it on a down note, but that's the reality of the world. And it's fucking disgusting. But I think it's a beautiful message to those children by a great author, and I think it's a wonderful perspective, and it's really great that he was able to do that in his life. And one more comment, I guess, about working for the man. You maybe someone can make an argument, well, if everyone followed their dreams and they could, do what they really want to do in life, and everyone would be making a decent amount of money, no one would be just squeaking out a meager existence. That's not reality, unfortunately, again. Because unfortunately, the world needs people to pick up the trash. The world needs people to work at fast food. In other words, there's not enough room for everyone to have a great job that pays well. There's not enough great jobs that pay well for every human that wants one, unfortunately. And it doesn't matter if tomorrow, because you always hear jerk-offs and people just spout things like, oh, well, go get a degree, or work harder, or do this, or work 3 jobs, or whatever. They're all jerk-offs. I've said this before to people, and on camera, and in comments. Everyone tomorrow, if they woke up with a doctorate in some field, guess what? Even with everyone having a doctorate, there wouldn't be enough good jobs for all those doctorate recipients. That's just the reality of things. So, when people spout dumbassery, like, when someone makes a comment saying, they can't get ahead, or they can't break through that poverty line, or they can't do this or do that, you always get some jerk off. Well, maybe if they went to school, or maybe again, there's not enough room for everyone to have that, $1 million mansion. That's not reality. There's not enough room for everyone to have a good job. There's not enough room for everyone to be an artist. That's the shitty fucking reality of this plane we live on, this disgusting sphere we live on, unfortunately. But let me end it saying this one more time. What a beautiful message, and what an interesting and unique perspective and way to approach the world that Mr. Vonnegut has put forth to these children. I commend him for that. And I just wish people had the time and the freedom to really do what Mr. Vonnegut suggested there. And I've been wanting to share this letter from Kurt Vonnegut for a while, and I just kept forgetting about it. So I hope people get something out of it. Have a good evening.